So right now I have some bread. This is 2 batches. So when I made it last night and started the bulk fermentation, it got so big I had to put it in another container. But you can see how bubbly it is, airy, but when you tilt it, it pulls away, just like on the videos. So I'm pretty stoked about that. I'm going to shape it on here. I have my bench scraper. I'm wondering if I should use flour or water, but probably use flour. Anyways, so what you do, sprinkle a little bit of flour on your board. This is going to come out pretty easy. You can even put a little bit on here because this won't stick to it and it won't try to eat it like it does regular bread flour. Alright? Check it out, here it goes. Pours out pretty easy. Look at that. Pretty cool, huh? Now, because I'm not going to make a gigantic piece of bread, I'm going to split this in half. So, the best way to see exactly how much it weighs is guess what? Use a scale. But what you want to do first, you want to weigh your container. Let me put my ring on so you guys know I'm married. Here's my scale. Turn it on. Put the bowl on. This bowl weighs 84 grams. So now I'm going to put this in because this is a big batch. That's where your bench scraper comes in handy. All right. I want to see how much this weighs. So what I'm going to have to do, scrape it up and put it in the bowl. It's supposed to weigh over 1,000. Guess what? 1,035. 1,056. That's pretty close. I'm going to throw this back on. Then I'm going to put this guy in there. See how much it weighs, what the difference is. 1,056, okay? You guys remember that for me. Here we go. Put that back on. Zero it out. Can't believe how easy it is to handle. That's 11/16, so it's 60. That means it's 60 grams heavier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 30 grams out. 11/16 minus 30 is 1086, right? Look at that, 1086. Thank you, Jesus. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I want to cover this. And I'm wondering if my daughter can be an assistant to me and cover this for me while I'm stretching this dough out. Probably won't. Because, you know.
I just gotta wash my hands first.
She's going to wash her hands first. So while she's doing that, I've already got the flour on here. So when you shape this, right, you do something called laminate, which is basically stretch it out. You can flour your hands a little so your hands aren't sticky. But all you're doing is you're going to stretch it. And if it's real sticky, because this is a heavier hydration that I've been used to using. Since I'm an amateur and beginner sourdough bread maker, my bread,
What am I covering?
just cover that.
With,
Turn that off.
with the towel? Or?
No, you can actually use one of these.
The hairnets?
There's a couple in there though. Another bench scraper. I'll put a little more flour on there.
This isn't really big enough.
It is. I had one on it. That's what I did. Okay, so all you're gonna do now is if it's real sticky like this is, you can put the dough underneath it. Not the dough, the rice flour. Remember, rice flour doesn't stick like the regular flour. All regular flour won't stick either. However, what I've been told is that when you do this with your flour, you want your hands to be really quick, like quick draw, right? Okay. So this now, we're going to stretch this dough out. That's what the lamination is. Thank you, Assistant Liz. Alright. What you do, pick it up and stretch it. They say to make like a big rectangle. I like it when I watch these creators make their dough because it looks so nice. And they just pick it up and slap it down on the top of there. Right? And you stretch it out. So what I'm going to try today is what's called head and shoulders, knees and toes. So bring it up to the, fold it in. This is pretty sticky. So of course, you see that I don't have it right. Head and shoulders, knees and toes. But you basically pick it up, turn it in, back in on itself, right? This is pretty sticky. I'm going to need a little bit more dough. I can see why some people use water. Water's pretty good also. But I'm still learning, so thank you guys for watching and working with me. Basically fold it in on itself, right? What they normally do is after they stretch it out is they roll it. Right? And it's pretty sticky. That's the thing about this hydration, higher hydration dough. It's going to be real sticky. And if you're not used to working with sourdough, like me, I'm a beginner, it's going to be tough to handle. You have to be really quick. So anytime you touch it, so now, since I have this is what's called a bowl or a round, I am going to sprinkle a little more flour on it. I have a couple bowls right here waiting. Bully, bully, bully. There we go. You want to flour these? These are already floured. You can see that they're floured. Thanks for watching, you guys. I appreciate that. Okay, you never have too much flour in here, right? So you throw that in there. I'm gonna do the same thing again, one more time. Because it's so wet. So a method that I've seen, they call it a clasp. What I'm gonna do, sprinkle some more flour. I have to have 2 of these. Alright. Fold it again. This time I'm just going to fold it in like this. This is the clasp method. top. I like to spin it around because the creators usually always roll it back on itself. You try not to squeeze the bubbles out when you do that. But yeah, this is really wet. So now what I'm going to do, I'll turn it in on itself. What this is going to do is create some tension on the loaf. So that when you make the bread, it rises. You can see the bubbles in there. Like I said in the beginning, I'm not using water on my hands. A lot of times, if you're not good, man, water, it'll make a big mess, right? Water and flour, it ends up getting you all sticky. You want to make it to where you can handle it out. Sprinkle the top. And cover it. Let it rest. Now I'm going to take this other one. Do the same thing with this one. Sprinkle some flour on there. Rice flour. Sprinkle some on the top of there also. Plop it in there. Look at that, came out real nice. Alright. So same thing with this, right? Get that manageable. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this off of the board because it's so big. I'm going to stick it in here. Cover that. Throw a little bit of flour down. I had water, but that was when I was doing my stretch and folds. So what I'm going to do now, get it. Welcome to another amateur bread baker's session. Make it a big rectangle. You're going to stretch it out. See all the bubbles in there? This is where, if you're good enough, you can also do what's called inclusion. So you can put, cheese, berries. You can make like cinnamon raisin bread, all kinds of different things. You can make garlic and rosemary. Okay, so we do the fold, right? So now when you pre-shape, basically you get it towards the top of the board, wherever you're at, alright? And you pull it back towards you. circle. And these bench scrapers work really well to do that. So what you do is you tighten that skin like a drum. And here, we're going to let this dough rest for 20 minutes. Then I'm going to do what's called the final shape. So I'm going to throw the other loaf back on here. Let them rest for 20 minutes. Basically, try and make it uniform, right? Like a boule is what they call it. Kind of sounds like a bowl, but it's not. I take it the term is French. I don't like it being that sticky. Definitely, like I said earlier, you don't want to mix water and flour because it'll get. If I started putting water on my hands to do this, I'm pretty sure it'll be a mess, you know. So, Till I don't see well, that's why I'm squinting to see you guys. Alright, that's it. So this is the pre-shape. What you're looking for is to get in a nice round shape, right? Because that's what it's going to look like when it goes in the Dutch oven and cook it. I don't like that it's sticky, but it's going to be that way because it's a higher hydration dough. It tears, you don't want that. That's why I'm using the bench scrapers. It's too sticky for me to work with. Now, I'm going to let this rest for 20 minutes and then I'll shape it again. See you soon. Back later. Bye.